tonight.
Finally, so we can see one of two things, Eric. Rust, which players will have to work through, especially early on in this match, or so much energy and excitement to finally be playing in a live match that they blow the doors off set one.
We will see what happens in set one. Let's refresh your memory for the Aggies from the fall. They won their first 4 matches and peaked at 6th in the national rankings. Morgan Davis hit .459. That's good for first in the SEC. Mallory Talbert averaged better than a block a set in the fall. That's 3rd in the conference. But A&M dropped their final 4 matches, last playing November 14th. That's given them some time to reassess personnel and perhaps tweak their lineup, Katie.
Without a doubt, one change we will see from the fall is the start of freshman Claire Jeter on the right side. Laura Bird-Kuhn says Jeter has a heavy arm and she terminates regardless of position on the floor. They started working her at right side this semester and feel like they've struck gold. On the other side, South Carolina has a proven freshman middle blocker in Ellie Rubrick. She just received SEC Freshman of the Week honors after her performance in the 2 wins against Mississippi State. This is a young player that is so gifted at the net blocking. She becomes more offensive, Eric, with every match she plays.
20 kills, hit .529 in the 2 wins over Mississippi State last time out in Columbia for South Carolina. And we are ready to go in Columbia. South Carolina with the first serve. Mallory Dixon puts it in play. Dug out by Sabrina Sistala. And the first point goes to South Carolina. Well, you mentioned rust or blow the doors off. So what would your gut feeling be after not playing in a game from November 14th and being cooped up for so long?
Well, it's tricky because there's so much anxiety and just anxious feelings wanting to get out there and finally play that you don't want to have too many emotions, right? You don't want to get too high too early. So you kind of want to come out, stay calm, even-keeled, and just slowly work your way back into playing in a live match because it's been a long time coming. But Laura Bird-Kuhn, as you see there, she said, we're so excited. These last few weeks, we've just been itching to get back out on the court and playing somebody other than ourselves.
Cece Hecht comes on for Lauren Davis for the serve for Texas A&M. And blocked out of play and back-to-back points for A&M. So if you're South Carolina, you've been in this position a couple of times already. You started your season like everybody else a couple of weeks ago. Then you've had another series. That was the first series from Mississippi State. Can Carolina learn a little something about trying to jump out early against the team that may be fighting through those anxious moments after such a long layoff?
Absolutely. If you're South Carolina, you want to start this game extremely fast. Great block there up front by Ellie Rubrick, who we just talked about, was named SEC Freshman of the Week a week ago after her performances against Mississippi State. You want to start fast and jump on Texas A&M, maybe as they work off some of the rust because they haven't played in a live match in so many weeks.
Kyla Manning with the serve, and there's the early setup for Claire Jeter, and this has to be a surprise to a lot of people. Maybe it was a big surprise to Claire, who played just 3 sets in the fall, had a couple of kills, but Bird-Kuhn told us when we said, are we going to see any changes? She said, yep, Claire Jeter's going to start, which was a bit of a surprise.
And Jeter's somebody too, Eric, that has played and trained at middle blocker. So Bird said, we just threw her on the right side in practice this semester just to see what it would be like. And she wowed. She was making plays, she was terminating. And so they said, hey, we're going to stick with this. We're going to ride with it and just see what happens. And over the last few weeks, because they haven't been playing in live matches, Bird has been able to assess players and tinker with lineups. And because she's done that, she feels like she's found something with Claire Jeter on the right side.
Blocked back, and a good block by Talbert leading the way for Texas A&M.
Really nice job there by Mallory Talbert, working her way out to the left pin to close that block with Morgan Christian there on the left side. That is the first A&M block, and forehands you do not want to run into often.
Christian and Talbert do get credit for teaming up for that block officially. And another block at the net, this time for South Carolina, and it's Michaela Robinson.
Michaela Robinson's like, yo, I led the conference in blocks last year. Anything I can do, you can do better kind of thing, or I can do better. Great job by Michaela Robinson.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Okay. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Just to clear it up.
Wow.
I knew what you were doing.
That's why they pair me with you. That's why they put me with you.
You complete me is the next thing to say. That's from another movie,
Absolutely. Nice dig.
Kept alive. Digging back for it was Bowers.
Free ball situation, what do?
You block it if you're Riley Whiteside's at the net.
But a nice job by Mallory Talbert. Great job by Camille Connor running the slide on a perfect pass. Talbot goes off 1 foot behind. Great tool.
A&M with the early lead. We mentioned you have to go back to November 14th, the last time they played. They lost at Arkansas. Then their spring season opener at Auburn, of course, no contest with Auburn opting out of the spring. And then postponed last weekend against Tennessee, and back-to-back points for A&M. There were COVID protocols in the A&M program, so there wasn't full practice time, of course. Players were out of practice. Coaches were out of practice. They were trying to coach via Zoom. That's how we do things in 2020, in 2021, and they didn't get back into the gym altogether for the most part until Monday. That's when head coach Bird Kuhn got in there, and now her team is up by 3 for the first time in this first set.
And I asked Bird, I said, when you got back to practice finally with the entire group on Monday, like, who was that one player that was just itching to get out there? That one goes a little bit too long by Michaela Robinson. And she said it had to be Camille Connor. She's such a competitive player, whether that's in practice, in the live games, and she was just ready, guns blazing. Let's get to game time, please. I am sick and tired of staying in my dorm room, my apartment. I would just want to get back out on the court and play somebody.
There's Riley Whiteside getting her first kill. The freshman from Greenville, South Carolina, second on the team in kills per set at just under 3. Struggled hitting Friday against Mississippi State at 0.45. That was an interesting match. South Carolina won the first 2 sets, but Mississippi State stormed back to take sets 3 and 4. Good save there by Sistala. And they'll be out of play, and back-to-back points for South Carolina. That 5th set, Mississippi State was up 7-4 in the 5th over South Carolina. Eventually got tied up at 9, and then South Carolina closed the match on a 6-0 run. Riley Whiteside served out the match. She won on that run.
Nice back row attack by Christian.
Blocked but out of play, and another point for South Carolina. So they've run off 3 straight to tie things up at 7 here in the first.
And it's worth mentioning, Eric, you had talked about that 5th set against Mississippi State. This is South Carolina's 5th match in 13 days. That's a lot of volleyball in a short amount of time. So it starts to wear and tear on your jumps, on your runs out on the court. So Tom Mendoza told his team, we need to play efficiently. We need to score quickly, because if this thing goes to 4 and 5 sets, fatigue is definitely going to weigh in and play a factor for South Carolina.
Good long point results in another point for South Carolina. 4-0 run for the Gamecocks. There you see Tom Mendoza in his 3rd year as South Carolina's head coach. Both these teams receiving votes in the AVCA national poll.
Nice recovery by A&M.
And that one's going to go long and give the point to A&M and end the mini scoring run for South Carolina. You see Lauren Davis. We do not see Morgan Davis, the senior who's leading the team in hitting and averaged better than 2 kills a set. So it looks like the senior from Orlando, Lauren's older sister, unavailable for Texas A&M here today. And you've already mentioned how Claire Jeter getting the start. London Austin Roark, also someone who didn't play a ton in the fall, just 4 sets, getting an opportunity here for Texas A&M. Aggies up 1 as Talbert serves.
2 really nice serves by Talbert, forcing South Carolina out of system there for an easy roll shot. Tight set.
That's off the mark, and another point for the Aggies. There you see Mallory Talbert, junior from Montgomery, Texas. As we mentioned, second in the SEC in blocks per set. Dixon with the set. Good save by A&M. Erica gets there again.
Really
Good hustle
nice
by
job.
Lowry a couple of times to keep that point alive, Katie, and get a point for Texas A&M.
Great job by Erica Lowry, getting those digs off the tools, but heads up play by Camille Connor, going to the back row there to Morgan Christian. Deep court shot, beautifully done.
Timeout called by South Carolina. A&M up by 3 here in set 1 in Columbia. Tomorrow, 4 Wooden Award late season finalists highlight a great night of women's basketball on the SEC Network. Zia Cook, Aaliyah Boston, and #1 South Carolina will look to bounce back as they take on Missouri at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then Chelsea Dungy, 18th ranked Arkansas, hosting Rakia Jackson and Mississippi State. Both games here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Couple of mini runs for each side so far, but at the moment, pretty good service run going for Mallory Talbert and Texas A&M, forcing South Carolina to take the first time out of the match. That's dropped out
really
of play.
nice.
Go ahead, Katie.
Really nice pass there by Camille Kovas, just a little bit trying to thread that needle too finely by Michaela Robinson. The tip was the right call because she would have had the defense beat. Just sends it a little bit wide.
Trying to get there was Christian, got a piece of it, heads out of play, and that ends the run for Texas A&M, a 5-0 run for the Aggies to put them in front.
And I love the decision by Mallory Dixon. You just had one of your best offensive threats make a mistake, go right back to her on a high 2-ball up the middle so that she can go up and get a kill. It's a great way to just reinstill some confidence in your hitter after making a mistake.
And Robinson hit at a good clip last time out, hitting at 368 in that win on Friday with 10 kills. A&M gets the point right back with Christian.
Really nice job by Camille Connor, just distributing the ball evenly right now. She's got both pins open, and then she's got Christian coming up on a bic or a pipe out of the middle. She's really kept Christian involved, even though she's in the backcourt, which keeps defenses honest and is very hard to defend.
Serve catches Tate. Libros with a couple of good plays during that sequence. It ends at a point for the Aggies.
Really nice swing by Lauren Davis on the outside. Great play by the Libro, but then coming straight down this line in between the hands of Dixon and the antenna. Boom. Beautifully done.
And a service error for Texas A&M. That's the first service error of the match for either side. And it brings it down to a 4-point first set. So Mallory Dixon will head back to serve. She's really been thriving in this setter role for South Carolina. They were going back and forth with how they were running their offense in the fall. That one's mishit, and it'll be a point for South Carolina. It was funny, Tom Mendoza said, well, we ran a 6-2 against Alabama, then a 5-1 in the second match against Alabama, so we're all over the place, he said with a laugh. But he thinks it's a positive because he's got options, but right now the best option seems to be Dixon, doesn't it, Katie?
Yeah, it really does. First off, great serve by her, dropping it in there for an ace, but the numbers offensively are best when they're running this 5-1. She's got a great rhythm and rapport right now with her outside hitters, Kyla Manning and Riley Whitesides. They feel confident in where she puts the ball. So he said, we're going to start in this 5-1, but you could easily see us flip in and out and try different options just to give Texas A&M different looks throughout this match.
Good quick set by A&M, but South Carolina there defensively, and they get the point.
Another great set by Dixon, this time high into the right side to Mackenzie Mormon. She goes right up into the seam in between those blockers' hands. Great cross-court shot.
Dixon on a good service run right now. Chance for it to continue here as she sets again. But then a miss hit by South Carolina's Manning will give the point to Texas A&M. CeCe Hecht will come back in to serve for the Aggies. She appeared in 2 sets in the fall, so she's getting an opportunity here in set 1 of the spring for Texas A&M. Jeter. Good block by the Aggies for the point.
Really nice job by London Austin Rourke, getting all the way out there, recognizing that they were going to Manning on the right side, getting it in position, pressing over right at the right time.
Junior from Weatherford, Texas, getting the start here tonight. Played just 4 sets in the fall.
Another great high swing by Mackenzie Mormon, finding the hands of those blockers to get the touch.
Hitting numbers not great so far in this first set for either side. Christian leading the way with 3 kills for Texas A&M. And Jeter will get the point.
Nice job by Camille Kovish, trying to get a hand on that, but just at the last second, just a little bit too far outside of the court to keep it in play.
Stala, good reflexes to keep it going for the Aggies. And that one misses the mark. Another point for the Aggies. Now the hitting errors piling up for South Carolina. They're hitting negative in this first set. So another timeout called by South Carolina. Texas A&M on top by...
And what they're reading. And then they need to play efficiently. It's something we talked about earlier, Eric. They've played a lot of volleyball in a short amount of time. If they can win points and terminate quickly, where these plays don't turn into long rallies with multiple possessions, that'll bode well for them moving forward, because fatigue is going to become a factor later on in this match.
That seemed pretty efficient right there. The first point out of the timeout. Point for South Carolina.
That's when you can say that's the coach's point. I called the timeout. I get the point coming back out. Good timing.
I was thinking more as your teammate that the final KG's key led perfectly into the efficiency piece. But then there's
it's a quick point.
You wanted to use the serve, but if you have a service error, that's not using. See, I pay attention to your keys. I'm listening.
I appreciate that. You are a good student. Thank you very much. An active listener.
Claire Jeter serves for Texas A&M. And hitting error for South Carolina. A&M up by 5, 20-15 in set 1 of the best of 5. Well, that worked out pretty well for South Carolina from the back line. A kill for Kyla Manning.
Nice placement by Kyla Manning. She took some off of it, just put it in a really deep spot in the court, which makes it hard to defend. But if you're looking at South Carolina's stats right now, they've got 9 kills, but 9 unforced errors, Eric. And that's where you're seeing the point discrepancy right now.
Manning has 4 of the 9 kills for South Carolina. Texas A&M comes back with a kill of their own.
A nice pass right on top of Connor's head. She takes 1 step back. Talbert does a nice job off speed. You can see the smile from her. She wasn't necessarily expecting it, but it drops right in the donut.
Was that intentionally off speed? We want to give her credit for that?
I don't think so. Sometimes you just got to go with it.
And an ace for Texas A&M as Christian serves it up.
And that's another one of the changes we've seen to Texas A&M's lineup coming from the fall and the spring. Morgan Christian is now playing 6 rotations. Bird says she's just grown tremendously in a short period of time from the fall season now into the couple of practices that they've had in the spring. So you'll see more and more of Christian. And that play apparently still live? No?
They're giving the point to South Carolina. It looked like A&M was keeping it alive.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
It's short hopped up.
Definitely the right call.
Oh, you mentioned Morgan Christian. She's having a really strong first set. 3 kills, 3 digs, 2 blocks, and an ace. Christian can't get there, and back-to-back points for South Carolina to try to stay within shouting distance here in the first set.
You know, that could just be a product, Eric, of being secure and more settled in the system, in the lineup, in the players, just being comfortable with those who are playing around you for Christian. You know, it's a lot when you transfer in to try to adapt and acclimate yourself as quickly as possible. So just with 8 matches or so under her belt from the fall, you're going to see improvements and just a player feel and look more comfortable in her role the more she plays.
Christian had 13 starts with Kansas as a freshman in her first year with the Aggies. Not everything's been perfect in the first set for her. She does have 4 errors. In other words, she's been very active here in set number 1.
Ooh.
Good block by Texas A&M when they needed it. South Carolina had scored 3 straight points, but the defense, the block is there from Davis.
And that's a much-needed point because you just sent over a roll shot. So South Carolina could have their way with this. They go with the slide, Michaela Robinson, but great job by Lauren Davis sealing off that block in time.
3rd block for the Aggies. They averaged almost 2.5 blocks per set in the fall. Good for 4th in the SEC. That point goes to South Carolina.
Nice job by Manning. A roll shot, wrist away, placing it right in between those off-blocker defenders. Makes it a little confusing of whose ball it is, who should go win. Drops it right in between.
Caitlin Crawford, freshman, on the serve. Good, strong swing by Davis, and it's set point for the Aggies.
It'll be interesting to see how Texas A&M closes out this match. They've had a couple of shaky passes in the last few serve-receive possessions. You haven't had to close out a match since November. Your foot's on the gas right now. Can you finish it? Well, that's easy.
The answer is yes. Good, strong serve by the Aggies. Yes, they can indeed. There is some rust. It wasn't perfect, but you got to be thrilled with the end result. Playing your first match since November. You win the first set on the road against South Carolina, 25-20 in the first. Playing the best of 5 in Columbia and Texas A&M with Mallory Talbert in the strong serve.
Mallory Talbert, when they have had that matchup in set 1, did a really nice job tracking her, following her along the net, and putting up a good, strong block for her to work around.
I think they're trying to get the lineup straight here for the start of set number 2, and Talbert will go back to serve for the Aggies. Well, one thing that Bird Coon talked about was the team chemistry, that their competitive chemistry had grown. Obviously, the fall didn't end the way they wanted to with 4 straight losses to close out the fall season, and we know how hard the fall was. Good start, and there is Manning with the block and the point for South Carolina.
And I love that big block and then the fire and enthusiasm and passion you see in the celebration right after. Kind of trying to pick up the urgency a little bit with that celebration, saying, all right, let's start off fast in set 2. London
Austin Roark with the kill. to even it at 1.
That's one of the keys that Bird talked about. If we can pass well, drop the ball right on top of Camille Connor's head, can we run the middles, establish them, and get them going? Great job setting up Rourke on the slide.
Connor serves. Dropped in, and a point for South Carolina.
Nice job there by Ellie Rubrick, recognizing the situation. It's not a perfect set. We're in a tight situation. She goes with the tip, and that's somewhere where Tom Mendoza says that she's really grown from the fall to the spring, where if it's not a perfect set, rather than just dinking over a free ball and letting the opposing team run it back down our throat, she's been very conscious of her ball placement, and it's actually resulted in offensive kills.
Christian kept it alive for A&M. White sides, dug out by Christian. Davis gets the point for the Aggies.
This is one of the first times we're seeing Morgan Christian work through 6 rotations. She's done a really nice job, Eric, playing in the back row, getting a couple digs. She's got 5 right now. You see her out in middle back. She's done a really nice job playing lockdown defense.
Davis will check out, and then a service error for the Aggies will give the easy point to South Carolina. South Carolina with a 5-match winning streak. They beat Florida in 5 sets in the fall after losing the night before in 3 sets. We had that 3-set match between South Carolina and Florida, and they bounced back. That was kind of what their MO was, as Jeter gets the point for Texas A&M. They had lost the first night against Tennessee, then came back and won the next night. But that Florida 5-setter seemed to be a real strong turning point. Obviously, it started this current 5-game winning streak and ended their 24-match losing streak to the Gators in that series. Trying to keep that momentum going here in the spring season. And South Carolina's got a 4-3 lead in the second.
Really nice job here with the pass, controlling it. Great set by Dixon, and then just a lot of mustard by Michaela Robinson on that one, getting the kill off the shank.
Good, strong swing by Christian to get the point. Christian tied with the team for the team lead with kills with 4.
That's a nice job by Connor. You see she's running forward. Her momentum's taking her off the court, but she does a nice job hanging that right inside the antenna so Morgan can go up and get the kill.
Talbert follows up with a kill of her own.
Nice job running the slide, spreading out that block. You see Robinson's not able to get there in time. Makes for a one-on-one situation, easy kill.
And a point for Michaela Robinson, the senior. Ties it up at 5.
And they're gonna need more of that when she checks back in. If you've got the pass, you better go to Michaela Robinson, because your chances of getting a kill are very, very high.
Robinson hitting .323. That's good for second on South Carolina as Crawford comes on to serve. They go to Christian for the kill.
Tight situations like that, you never know what's going to happen. Are you going to get just absolutely roofed, or are you going to sneak it through? High contact, unbelievable. Somebody check the wood. There might be splinters.
May have to retire that ball that she just terminated as she goes back to serve.
Out of system situation. Nice handle by Kyla Manning. Kyla Manning, somebody, Eric, who played beach when she was at Coastal Carolina before transferring over for her 5th year here at South Carolina. So scenarios like this would be very, very hard for somebody who doesn't have great touch, but she understands so many situations because of her body control. There's a nice ace by South Carolina's Mallory Dixon. But because of that beach background, she can control her body in unique ways. She has great touch on her hand. That's when you can get a kill in a situation like that as compared to just rolling over a free ball and hoping for the best.
Manning with 6 kills already today. There's a service error for Dixon. So Manning closing in on 1,000 in her career when you add her time at Coastal to what she's done in her first season with South Carolina. Well, we saw some mini runs in that first set, 3-0 run, 4-0 run. They'd go back and forth. First set eventually won by A&M 25-20. This one's been tight throughout. Tied again, this time at 7. And a kill for South Carolina will put the Gamecocks back in front.
Another nice job by Mackenzie Mormon. This is somebody, when they got that 5-set win over Florida, that they had flipped to a 6-2. They put her in, and she went off. She tore it up, Tom Mendoza said, and that's when they really got a great look at the depth that they have on the right side. And so ever since then, they've been continuing to ride with Mormon, and she's done a great job on that right side, connecting there with Ellie Rubrick for a big-time block.
Yeah, Norman had 9 kills in that win against Florida that Katie just referenced, and Tom Mendoza said the word he used was revelation of how well she's played. Tough to keep her off the court. She's contributing here to South Carolina, going up by 2, make it 1 after the service error. So A&M will serve down 1 up a set here in the second. Whiteside's had to get her feet set. Blocked back by Whitesides.
I would have loved in that moment for Camille Connor to recognize that the middle was hedging over the right side and her to back set that back to her left side attacker. But a great job by Riley Whitesides, recognizing that the set was coming, getting up and pressing in time, right back at Claire Jeter. That ball was down.
It was down, and the point goes to Texas A&M. Lauren Davis will check out. Cece Hecht will come back on to serve for the Aggies. Mentioned before that the Aggies peaked at 6th in the country in that fall national poll. Hecht got there to take it out for A&M.
Nice handle. Great dig.
Good rip by Whitesides. The dig by Sistala, but the point still goes to South Carolina.
Sistala's like, come on! I just bodied that ball! Help me out! Great job by right side. High extension. Good body there. Unfortunately, just a little bit of a miscommunication. Connor thought Jeter was right there. Jeter thought Connor.
They set Christian again. And she missed the mark. Hitting error for her. That's her first error this set after she had 4 in the first set. Lauren Bowers. Quick set to the middle for London, Austin, Roark.
It's a nice pass by Sistala on that short ball on the serve. Puts it right on top of Connor's head. Runs for the quick set there on the 3 gap. A little bit of a tip over, swipe over.
Robinson took the big swing, but it's a point for the Aggies.
See, she's frustrated with that one. Thought there might have been a touch, but frustrated she hit it a little bit too long.
That is the first attack error this set for South Carolina. They had 10 in the first set.
That's a great turnaround. A great turnaround after multiple errors off the attack in set one. A great response by South Carolina coming out in set two, taking care of the ball.
Well, from their point of view, it's a good thing they've taken better care of the ball because they are tied with Texas A&M, and now they're in front of Texas A&M, but it has been very tight. So South Carolina is going to have to continue to play as close to error-free volleyball as they can. Both teams hitting 235 here in set two. Hecht had the dig, came up for the swing, but the point goes to Manning. Robinson, rather, for South Carolina.
Such a great set by Mallory Dixon. She gets it high enough because Michaela Robinson, she's 6'2". Let her go up there and get it. And boy, does she. Great job connecting up so high, right at the top of the antenna. She brings it back cross court, deep into the court. Great shot.
Whiteside's caught the net, so that gives the point to the Aggies.
I like the run by Dixon trying to get Whitesides involved in the back row, but when you've got Michaela Robinson in the front row and she's being terminal, feed your best hitter in that moment while you have her in the front row.
Claire Jeter with the serve. Dropped in and a point for Robinson. So South Carolina goes on top 15-13 here in the second set, and that will get us to a timeout. A&M won set one, 25-20. Carolina leads in set two in Columbia. South Carolina up by 2. Michaela Robinson, who has won Defensive Player of the Week award in the SEC here in the spring, came last week. She's been in the middle of things here in set number 2 for South Carolina.
She just is so explosive, so athletic. She hits the ball so high, it makes it extremely hard to defend on that slide or on that A6 ball, 1 foot behind the setter. She goes up, cuts across court, and she just checked out of the game, Eric. South Carolina's got a 2-point lead here. If you're South Carolina, you got to sustain that lead while Robinson is on the bench before she can check back in, say when we get to 20 points or so to close out this second set. You just want to sustain the lead without your most terminal attacker on the court.
Robinson's been outstanding, hasn't missed a match in her 4-year South Carolina career. That's blocked out of play. Looked like it was going to be a wild point for South Carolina as they had a couple of reflexive saves, but in the end, A&M gets the point.
Now if you're A&M, you got to recognize Robinson's out, Mallory Dixon, South Carolina setter, she's 5'9", she's up front, blocking on the right side. If you're Lauren Davis, if you just checked into the game, you're telling Camille Connor, set me to the pin, let me try to go at this setter while we have an advantage.
South Carolina will hold on to the lead after the kill by Manning.
Nice in-tempo set by Dixon all the way out there. Gave Manning option to go cross-court or down the line. She's successful cross-court.
Mallory Dixon ready to serve for South Carolina. The setter, Connor, who averages 1 kill a set, she's not afraid to look for her points, but she couldn't get it right there, and that puts South Carolina. Oh, she does get it. Oh, it does go in. Yes, well, I didn't want to take anything away from a setter.
Come on, give credit where credit's due. It doesn't happen often, but it is something I will say that Bird had said. We've talked to Connor about being a little bit more aggressive. We want her to attack more because it just makes our offense that much more dynamic when she's an option as well.
Well, she sparks things here for Texas A&M, so let's take you back because I do want to give credit where credit is due. The senior getting the point.
Sneaks it through right in between the net and Ellie Rubrick. Ellie Rubrick just not on time to seal off that net. Great job by Connor recognizing, good pass, it's my time to take it over.
It's just that Camille didn't go over the top of the celebration, you know, because she's so good. She acts like she's been there before. Yes, I respect that and like that. Here she is doing what she does best with the set.
I feel like that was a shot at me also. Just
I think they called it a ricochet.
Slide under the radar.
Yeah. Long points ends with it being hit out of play by South Carolina. Now Texas A&M is in front here in the second set.
I've been really impressed with Morgan Christian and her play in the back row through 2 sets so far. She's making great digs, playable for Camille Connor to be able to run her offense efficiently. She's running every which way from sideline to sideline, tracking the ball to make sure she's calling it out. This is one of the first opportunities she's gotten to play 6 rotations since Texas A&M has had this hiatus for the last couple weeks. She's impressing all the way around right now. Great start by Morgan Christian.
Big swing and a point for Manning to end the 3-0 run for Texas A&M.
Really nice cut shot by Manning to go down the line. Keeps that right back defender honest. And if they're not ready, well, results in a kill.
8th kill for Manning. Good little changeup by Davis to get the point for the Aggies.
Great finesse shot, just mixing it up. Keeping the defense and the blockers up front, right in front of her, honest.
Lauren, a member of the all-freshman team last year in the SEC. That one's going to be a miss hit, and it's going to be an error for South Carolina. Now they're starting to pile up the errors a little bit here in this second set. That's their 5th. Remember, they went a long period of time without any hitting errors, Katie, and that kept them close. But right now, a timeout being called by South Carolina as A&M has gone on top by 2.
Good timing on the timeout. Let's just talk about it. Take a second, relax, calm ourselves. We need to come out of this. Her hitter is on the receiving end of Mallory Dixon's out-of-system set. Control it. Just put it into play and trust that your defense will put up another good ball so you can go up and try to terminate. But don't try to do too much and force another unforced error.
And get it to white sides, but there defensively is A&M to keep the point alive. And they're still alive. Blocked back, but out of play and a point for South Carolina. Out of the timeout, much needed to make it a 1-point set.
Nice try by Lauren Davis on the block. Hand just facing a little bit too far outside the court. Good job by Mormon, tooling that outside hand right down the line. Ooh. Great dig by Kovas.
Yeah, Kovas had the dig, and that turns into a point for South Carolina.
Kovas needs to continue to build on this run. Strong, aggressive serves. But she needs to keep it in play so that you can continue on this run.
8th dig for Kovas, who serves.
Ooh! London Austin Rourke. Beautifully done up the middle. Quick set from Camille Connor. This is textbook. Hard approach, great timing. Hits it straight to left back. Great connection between the two.
That puts the Aggies up by 1. First to 20 here in the second. Hecht with the serve. Point goes to Carolina.
Nice job by Michaela Robinson. Same set, same approach on that quick 1 set right in front of Mallory Dixon. Goes up, muscles it through on the block.
This has felt like a tighter set. This is the 12th tie of set 2, even at 20. Jeter had it deflected out of play to put A&M back in front.
That's really well done because Camille Connor was on the run. It wasn't a great pass by Texas A&M. She's working as hard as she can to get her feet there, well behind the 10-foot line. She throws it high and inside to Jeter. Jeter handles it to find those hands.
Quick little kill by the setter. Dixon
Well
with the
done,
point.
Mallory Dixon. Well done. 5'9", I don't care. I'll go up and throw down on anybody. But if you're Christian, get up here and jump. Jump, girlfriend. Don't let her just throw it on through.
Blocked back by Jeter. Point, Texas A&M.
Jeter can block. She can swing high. She's got a heavy arm. She's also, oh, by the way, 6'3", so she can do that when needed and get you a big point late in the second set.
Mallory Talbert shares the block for Texas A&M, and then a quick point, very efficient from Michaela Robinson to tie it at 22.
I don't know how you stop it. I don't. Look how high she's swinging and contacting this ball. Over top of the two blockers in front of her. You cannot stop that. And unfortunately, she has to check out of the game when you're tied at 22.
Christian gets another point for the Aggies. That's her 7th kill of the match.
Really nice swing by Christian. You can just tell in her demeanor, Eric, she's so settled. She's calm. She looks confident out there, whether it's in the back row attacking or making a dig or taking a big old rip on the outside pin.
I think she's someone who's carried over some of the good feelings late in the fall. She had 23 kills, which is her career high against Arkansas. That was the final series of the year, and now it is set point for the Aggies. But you talked about all that practice time and the time getting ready for this delayed season debut, and I think A&M has to be thrilled, forcing South Carolina into another timeout. They're 1 point away from going up 2-0.
It was interesting when we had our conversation with Bird yesterday. I asked, was there anything that surprised you about Christian when she arrived at Texas A&M? Because you think you know a player and know what they're good at when you're recruiting them to come to your school, but then when you get them in your own gym, you don't quite know what you're going to get until you get to know them one-on-one. And she said, I don't think there was anything that surprised us per se about Christian. I think she surprises herself on a day-to-day basis, which I found really interesting. She said she doesn't felt.
So she will look for her 3rd ace of the match as she serves for set number 2. And she will get the ace.
It skirted the net. It almost looked like an error. And I think South Carolina's defenders and passers were a little bit surprised. But look at that face. Look at that face. She's even a little bit surprised. Like, I don't know. I thought I was going to go in the net.
When you're hot, right? When you're hot, you're hot. And that's Morgan Christian right now. An ace to close it out in set 2. And A&M's up 2-0.
To close out a 3-setter in their first match back from COVID-19 protocols.
Connor, 22 assists so far through 2 sets as A&M hit 297 in that second set and closed things out on an 11-6 burst to close out the set. Okay, South Carolina's point of view. This is a team that has already played 4 matches. This is number 5 of the spring season. What do they need to do? What do you expect to see? Or what are your questions going into the 3rd for the Gamecocks?
I guess my biggest question is, are you taxed and tired? Because to your point, this is match 5 in 13 days. Now you're down 2-0. Are you going to roll over and quit on your home court? Or are you going to show some resiliency and fight and try to extend this game to set 4 and then set 5 to win this?
Carolina will serve to open up the 3rd. And the first point goes to Carolina. Manning leading the way now with 10 kills, hitting at 161. Robinson with 8 kills, hitting at 250. As a team so far in the match, Gamecocks hitting at 160.
Great start by Manning again. She got the first point of set 2. Here she gets another kill to start off set 3.
And then the quick set by the setter, Camille Connor, preseason all-conference at setter. Another assist for her and a kill for Austin Roark.
Nice job by Austin Roark handling that quick set, getting it deep into the court for a nice kill.
She has 5 kills and she's hitting .400. I know you've been kind of keeping an eye on the play of Jeter and Austin Roark, a couple of players who getting their first starts here for Texas A&M. Probably a surprise to some, as that one is just going to go long. But what do you think of the young players so far for Texas A&M? Young by experience when it comes to Austin Roark, and young by class for Jeter playing for Bird Coon.
Well, I think Tom Mendoza actually said it best. He said Texas A&M in the SEC probably has one of the most evenly distributed offenses because Camille Connor does such a good job getting everyone involved, whether that's the pins, whether that's the middle, or in the back row. So when you go down a stat sheet, you think, oh, Morgan Christian has 7 kills, 6 kills to Lauren Davis, but then you're like, oh, wow, London Austin Roark, she's also got 4 kills for herself right now, 5 kills, excuse me. So you don't necessarily recognize how many people have been involved until you actually look at the black and white blueprint on the stat line.
So after Christian got her 8th kill, Carolina comes back to get the point. And they're serving up one here in the third with Kovas. They'll try Christian again. That one misses the mark, and it's a point for Carolina. It's been a case of hit or miss for Christian. She's been very good, but she does have 7 errors. And now an error on the serve for South Carolina will give the point to Texas A&M.
Claire Jeter back to serve. Somebody that Bird says she thought has the best serve on the team as a freshman. In her first career start, doesn't handle that one extremely well though.
Yeah, we asked Bird, who's got the best serve? She said, you know what? Claire Jeter, and that's someone who hadn't played, but in 3 sets in the fall. But again, I mean, as a player, you must love that if all that time you put in at practice and watching film and trying to get better when you're not playing games is rewarded by a coach who's going to put you in to the starting lineup like we've seen today for Jeter and from Austin Roark in the middle.
Yeah, and I think Bird was so funny when she said, I feel like I've struck gold. We feel like she's doing extremely well. We hope that she has a great impact in this game in her first start. But she was like, I hope you're also not thinking in the commercial break that I'm crazy for starting somebody if they don't play well. But so far, Jeter has held her own in her first career start here for A&M. The great run right now by South Carolina, largest lead that they've had tonight, Eric.
And that will force Texas A&M to call a timeout. So your question is answered, at least here through the first combined 10 points of this third set. South Carolina looks a little different. They got a little hop in their step, up 4 here in the third set. Their women's basketball doubleheader here tomorrow on the SEC Network. Number 1 South Carolina and Missouri gets it started at 7 Eastern time. Then Arkansas and Mississippi State at 9 Eastern time. Here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Mississippi State is a team, because of the way the schedule has gone in the SEC with COVID protocols, rescheduling games, postponing games. They've played just once since January 17th. So similar to what we've talked about with Texas A&M, you wonder what's going to happen when they get out on the court after such a long layoff. Find out tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. Well, this is the best South Carolina has looked in a while. They're up by 5, and this is a 4-0 run right now for Carolina as Bowers can serve once again.
Bowers has done an excellent job from the service line, continuing that run. Now comes to an end there, but we wondered how was South Carolina going to come out in set 3 after going down 2 sets, and a great resilient response. I think right now they're hitting .833, which is just outrageous. If they can continue to terminate at a high clip like this and take care of the ball, good things are going to happen as they continue on in set 3.
Hitting .833, and for the match now they have 6 blocks. They go to the slide, and that works out well as Carolina tries to get their offense kicked back into gear. The kill for Robinson.
Beautifully done. Nice set on the slide by Mallory Dixon. Usually we see Michaela Robinson hook this and go cross court, but A nice job changing it up, going down the line, just inside, out of the reach of Sestala. And now if you're Texas A&M, Eric, this is the first time you're really being pushed, right? South Carolina's on a big-time run. How do you respond? Because this is your first match of the spring. What happens when you're challenged and your back is against the wall?
You said it to who else but Morgan Christian to get the point.
Nice job by Camille Connor establishing that back row attack by going to Christian. Look how low that is and quick. It's just as if she's in the front row. Great job seamlessly incorporating Christian out of the back row. Now if you're Texas A&M and Mallory Talbert, can you get your team on a run?
Well, that's one thing South Carolina's done very well here in this set. They have not allowed A&M to build up any kind of momentum of their own. Manning with the emphatic kill.
Beautifully done here. Manning's one-on-one against Camille Connor. Great hold. If you saw London Austin Roark went to the outside following Michaela Robinson, Manning's one-on-one makes for a great easy kill. Pancake.
And a point for South Carolina. I think A&M looking maybe that it was tipped. We haven't had a replay used yet, a challenge, and we won't get one here. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm here for the facts, just the facts. 7-point edge here in the third set.
Free ball.
Another point for South Carolina. They stretched it out to an 8-point lead.
Back-to-back hitting errors for Texas A&M. One from Lauren Davis on the outside pin, one from Christian in the back row. Can you stop the bleeding? Side out here with a good pass and a quick termination.
Well, they get it from London Austin Roark. That was an 11-3 burst by South Carolina to go up by 8.
Nice job by Connor, forcing the middle here. Austin Roark, nice sharp cut shot. A little bit off speed, but a great placement there right on the 10-foot line.
Connor serves. And then another point. And again, that comes back to the point of South Carolina doesn't let Texas A&M build up any momentum offensively. They get the point right back.
And it's a great job by Manning. So often she approaches so hard and sends a ball over with such power. There she takes a little bit off of it, roll shots it right into the donut. It's just a great job of mixing it up, keeping defenses honest.
And back-to-back points for South Carolina. And Manning with that kill gets to 1,000 in her career. Her first year with South Carolina, had great success at Coastal Carolina, and she's been a big part of.
Lead to set to point 2, which is discipline at the net. We've seen Carolina block extremely well in set 3, which is a difference maker. And then when you're doing all of these things well, it's just contagious and it's bleeding over to their offense. Kyla Manning has been phenomenal on the outside pin. Obviously, when Michaela Robinson checks in and she's in the middle, she's been a force on the slides. But the third key that we talked about with Tom Mendoza was playing efficiently. This is a team that's played a lot of volleyball, and right now they are scoring quickly. When Texas A&M sides out, they get it right back, and they go on a run with their serve. They're playing lights out right now. And the question is, if you're Texas A&M, are you going to show any kind of push here? Are you going to challenge South Carolina, or are they going to walk away with set 3?
Or South Carolina could come out and get an ace out of the timeout, which is what they do with Mallory Dixon. That's her third ace tonight. And that gives her 12 now on the season. And all the numbers carry over and added here to the spring. Wins and losses for teams, all the individual stats for players as A&M gets the point back with Lauren Davis, who we'll check out.
There's a momentum play if you're Texas A&M. Lauren Davis, Austin Rourke combined for that block. Great job by Davis pressing in, filling that gap. Now, if you're Texas A&M and you're CC Hecht, you got to come out here and you got to start a run for your team. Start building points and putting them together.
There's one right there. Point for Ruprecht. Back to your point, we've made it a couple of times in this set, Katie. The runs we've seen in this set have come from South Carolina. Texas A&M hasn't been able to back up point after point. Well, South Carolina with a service error. That's their 5th of the match.
Here's the thing, this set is in no way out of Texas A&M's reach if they can put together 2 big runs here. But if you're South Carolina, you want to side out quickly, terminate quickly, and then get back to closing out set 3 so you can force a set 4. Nice job by Ruprecht.
Yeah, sure was. Ruprecht reading things well. The freshman gets the point.
She recognized everybody on defense was sucked in close to the net. She has the height. She goes up, throws it deep into the court, right over the top of the 2 defenders' heads.
Another point for South Carolina.
All smiles
They're
for
up by double
Robinson.
digits. Yeah.
A little bit of a mistiming there. Set was too high. Robinson was coming down. But she's got such a long extension. She's able just to touch it enough to dink it over for a kill.
Oh, dropped in beautifully by Morgan Christian for her 11th kill. Jeter serves. And again, Texas A&M unable to get back-to-back points. Another point for Carolina.
Great job by Riley Whiteside. She attacked and jumped and made contact with that ball right at the corner of the 10-foot line. She was 5 to 10 feet away from the net, but yet she's able to muscle it through. They're right there in time. You just got to seal that net a little bit quicker if you're Texas A&M.
Bowers with the serve.
Timing's not there for an A&M. Free ball situation. Well done.
The center is the one who turns in, drops it in. Connor with the point. South Carolina firmly in control of this 3rd set. A&M has been unable to go on any kind of run here in the 3rd. Davis back on. Whitesides gets the kill again. South Carolina's had an answer every time. A&M has had a side out and a serve. Carolina's been there with a point.
Oh, what a beautiful kill by Whiteside. Look, her body's not even facing that, and she goes thumb up, cuts it across her body, down the line, overhead. Beautifully done. Just a great job of contorting your body to get a kill. Nice try there by Connor, trying to turn and attack on the 2nd contact. She is a lefty, so she's capable of doing that. That's something that Bird's talked a lot about with her, trying to become more offensive, keep the defense honest, but now she's checking out of the game. Be interesting to see with the subs that were just made for Texas A&M if they've gone to a 6-2 or they're just trying to get a big block up in the front row with no setter on the court for just 1 point to get a side out. Fortunately, a mishandle there for Texas A&M. It was Melissa Walden who checked into the game. Riley Whiteside back to serve. Just long by Whiteside. Mallory Talbert back to serve. And if you're South Carolina right now, close this thing out, move on to set 4. Texas A&M, try to build some kind of momentum. Just a little bit of momentum, that's the way to do it right there with a huge block. Lauren Davis, London Austin Rohr combined for a monster block. Build some kind of momentum just to take that into set 4, regardless of a win or a loss here. Great job by Lauren Davis, tracking Michaela Robinson, pressing over. And then the passion and the excitement afterwards is well worth it. One of the first runs we've seen for Texas A&M be able to string together back-to-back points. Thanks to Mallory Talbert's serve and a big block up front. Great pancake there to keep it alive for South Carolina. And another nice set to London Austin Rohr for a 4-0 run for Texas A&M. Great one set. Robinson jumps with the setter just to get her off her track there. London Austin Rohr goes cross-body, cross-court for a nice kill. Lauren Davis with a nice kill, threading the needle on the back line. The run continues for Texas A&M. And here's, even if Texas A&M doesn't come out with a win in set 3, at least you're building some kind of momentum to move forward into set 4. Tom Mendoza's challenging that call to say that it was out. We'll look at the film, talk things over with the refs. The play was ruled in. Excuse me, it was ruled out. Nice dig by Kovas. And it's Keyoon Fletcher on the outside pin that gets the kill. 25-16, South Carolina wins set 3. We're heading to a 4th set. Texas A&M currently leads it 2-1. But we've got more volleyball and more action in Columbia, South Carolina when we return. Aggies lead 2-1 heading into the 4th. Welcome back to Columbia, South Carolina. Texas A&M took sets 1, 25-20, set 2, 25-22, but set 3 was all South Carolina. Tom Mendoza's group started out strong, and that continued through the entirety of the set to take it 25-16. The Gamecocks hit 483 for the set, 16 kills, and the difference was just 2 errors, 2 unforced errors for South Carolina, where they seem to have struggled in that category in sets 1 and sets 2. Can they continue with their momentum here in set 4, or would the Aggies regain some kind of control? Point to Texas A&M. Mallory Talbert continues to serve in set 3. She did put together a small push for the Aggies, but it just was not enough with the potent offense that we saw from South Carolina under Mallory Dixon at setter. Nice play at the net by Camille Connor to keep that alive. A swing by Kayla Manning. Looked as if it could be touched, but skirted the net just wide outside of the court. 2-0 Aggies. Another nice, strong serve from Talbert. A free ball situation. What do you do with it if you're Texas A&M? A nice run, the right idea. Just a little bit wide by London Austin Rourke on the slide. Here's another look. Great pass by Lowry. Great set, too. Just great set by Camille. She had the angle down the line, just contacts it a little bit too wide with the thumb down. Mallory Dixon in the leggings. Transfer from Wisconsin. They found a lot of success as of late, South Carolina has, in the 5-1 rotation with Dixon setting. Out of system to Lauren Davis, roll shot. Ellie Rubrick tries to get a hand on it, just not enough. Kill for Lauren Davis. Her first kill of the set, the first kill for either team of this set. If you're just joining us, I'm Katie George. My partner in crime and better half, Eric Freed, was with us. Hopefully he will be back momentarily. As Ellie Rubrick tips that one through the block. 3-2, Texas A&M. Kyla Manning back to serve. A nice three pass by Sestala. Great job by Camille Connor getting the middles involved. London Austin Rourke with a nice kill off the quick one set. Here's another look off the serve. Great pass by Sestala. Quick one set in front of two blockers, still manages to muscle it through. Nice run bringing Mackenzie Mormon around for the 2 set. But she ran into London Austin Rourke up the middle for a great momentum block. 5-2 Aggies. Here's another look. She's got 2 right in front of her. Rourke and Claire Jeter finds Rourke's inside hand. By Claire Jeter, just hits the net a little bit too low, doesn't go over into the line of play. Point South Carolina. Camille Kovas back to serve. Kill for Morgan Christian, who has been steady, consistent, confident this entire match. Not the best in set 3, but it wasn't the Aggies' best performance of the night. Christian has been doing it all from a block standpoint, getting aces from the service line, kills. She's making plays back there on defense. Inside, mixing in a tip there. And it's Mackenzie Mormon who gets the kill high over top of the block. Nice dig here. Camille Connor, sets it up, but Dixon puts Mormon in a great situation high. She's able to go right over top of the block's hand, hits it deep in the court. Another kill for Morgan Christian. That time she goes into the block, but just places it nicely. Block can't keep it into the court of play. 7-4 Texas A&M. Claire Jeter with the serve. Nice job by Whitesides handling the low set. But Camille Connor gets the kill. And so now we're seeing Texas A&M get on a run in set 4, where that was not a possibility in set 3. A good response by Laura Bird Coon's team.
You guys had one first.
She surely was not happy with set 3's performance, but she's got to like what she's seeing coming right out of the gate of set 4. Ooh. Right sides with a phenomenal swing from the left pin. You can see Morgan Christian a little shook up on that play. And I will just say, we have all been there. She's in the first line of attack at left front. She takes that one to the face, but she's taking it like a champ, muscling through. If you play college volleyball, you've been hit in the face, the shoulder, the chest, every limb possible. It's hazard pay. Now do you come back and respond with a monster kill? That's the question. Just shy, just out. South Carolina puts together 2 points. That's South Carolina's first point on a serve this set. Can they continue with white side serve to string together a couple of points for a run? And that slide from Mallory Talbert goes wide. Great job by Camille Kovas. If you saw that left foot straddling that line, it's her guide to whether to make a play on the ball or let it go long. Just a foot outside of that sideline. Kyla Manning with an off-speed shot off the block. They go back to Talbert. Talbert, cross court, great slide swing. And I love the decision from Camille Connor. Talbert just had an air, swings wide on the slide, and yet Camille Connor says, I'm gonna go to her again. I'm gonna set her on a slide, back-to-back plays, because I am confident in my hitter. I know that she can get us a kill. What does Talbert do? She goes up and gets the kill. That is a great way for a setter to instill confidence in their hitters after a mistake. Morgan Christian with the service ace. That is her third of the match. She's been aggressive from the front row, aggressive in middle back, playing defense, and again from the service line. Nice block by the Aggies. Manning again, muscles it through. Connor tries for the slide again, back row attack. White sides. Nice play by Erica Lowry. Tip just skirts the net. Kovas to Manning. Just long. 11-7 Texas A&M. Tom Mendoza wants to talk things over, take a break, calm his South Carolina Gamecock team. 11-7 Texas A&M leads in set 4 as they have a 2-1 lead on the match. Back in Columbia, South Carolina, Texas A&M with an 11-7 lead here in set 4. The match stands at 2-1. Texas A&M finally putting together strings of points. They went on a 3-0 run. South Carolina has 4 errors in this set, 2 errors in set 3.
Can I get a word in edgewise, Katie?
Was that the longest smoke break of your life? What happened?
I just thought you were so good
my shoulders
and so
hurt. My shoulders and back hurt.
and so energetic and so charismatic. I just sat back and I just bathed in it. It was amazing. Such a good job. Keep going. Don't let me get in the way. Or do you want to take a break?
There was a moment I thought, why are you still talking? And then I thought, oh yeah, he left me. He left me high and dry.
Well, first of all, I would never leave you, but we appreciate everyone behind the scenes trying to get things back and working again. By the tone of your voice, I was saying you can hear me because you're not too happy with me for ducking on you that long.
Glad to have you back, buddy. Glad you're back.
It's good to be back.
And hey, Texas A&M has turned things around in set 4.
After losing set 3, 25-16. Oh, I was tracking and watching. You just couldn't hear what I had to say. So I've been on top of things as South Carolina tries to scratch back here in the 4th, down now by 2.
Nothing gives you a greater appreciation for someone else's job until you have to do theirs. And I was like, you know, I'm having to look at stats. I'm also having to tell you about these players rather than just breaking down the play. So kudos to you for the job that you do.
That's why we make a good team. We make a good team. I'll skate my lane and you handle yours. But you handled mine pretty well too, so awesome job.
Do you mind if I just step out for a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, 20 minutes like me? Sure, go ahead. 12-9, A&M on top and serving here in the 4th. And Carolina won't get to that one, so that'll bring Texas A&M to a 4-point edge.
Nice hustle there by Camille Kovas, trying to run that ball down, but Mallory Talbert has been phenomenal from the service line here in set 4. Both runs have started with her.
A&M with 7 total service aces. Free ball, and A&M takes advantage of it with Lauren Davis at the net.
And Davis has done such a nice job of just mixing in different shots throughout the night. Whether that's from an attack standpoint or up at the block there, she goes against Mallory Dixon, swipes that one back to the middle of the court. She just did it again. She just wanted to show you that she swiped it well. Look, it hurt her shoulder a little bit.
So timeout called by South Carolina with A&M on top by 5 here in set number 4. A&M took set 1 25-20. They took set 2 25-22. It was all South Carolina in set 3, winning 25-16. Kyla Manning is setting the tone for Carolina with 14 kills.
That 3, South Carolina had 16 kills and just 2 errors. And that's why you saw such a resounding result in set 3.
Dug out by Erica Lowry, and a point for Texas A&M.
Austin Rourke, nice job handling that set. Was a little goofy-footed on the approach here, but she's still able to maintain it. Goes up with the left hand, places it right over. Ellie Rubrick tries to make a play on it, just can't get there quite in time.
That's a nice little improvisation by Austin Rourke. And another point for Texas A&M. Now South Carolina has used both their timeouts in this set, and it's starting to get away from the Gamecocks a little bit, now down by 7.
You have to side out if you're South Carolina and start making a push here, but Mallory Talbert is making that difficult. That's a 5-0 run for the Aggies. Oh, and now an out of rotation call, which is not what you want in this moment.
South Carolina on a 5-match winning streak to improve to 9-3 in the SEC. That streak on the line right now, down 2 sets to 1. They get the big swing and they get the much needed point thanks to Manning. Mallory Dixon back to serve. A&M, this 9-3 burst has put them on top by 7 and then an ace. So South Carolina with back-to-back points when they needed it most.
Great job by Mallory Dixon, placing that ball on the back line. That's a momentum ace. Now can you just slowly chip away at this lead, 1 point at a time. Slowly creep back in and put the pressure back on Texas A&M. Make them tighten up. Great serve by Mallory Dixon. That's exactly what you want. Just a good, strong serve after another.
Dixon now with 5 aces for South Carolina, and then a kill for Texas A&M.
Great job by Austin Rourke. Coming around on the slide off 1 foot. She's got a big gap and seam in between. She goes right through it, cross court, hits the line.
Connor serve. And another point for Texas A&M. (19-12) Aggies in the fourth.
Nice job making it. Oh, nice try by Manning to keep that play alive. Texas A&M now at 20.
Yeah, all the momentum right now, Katie, with Texas A&M, South Carolina, desperate for a side out right now.
Sorry, I just got so used to being able to talk when I wanted. My bad. Great swing by Lauren Davis, coming inside off 1 foot to get the kill, shovel it through.
21-12. Davis with 12 kills, hitting at 256. Another good serve for the Aggies, but a good answer by South Carolina. Mormon at the net.
Mormon's somebody that Tom Mendoza is really excited about moving forward. You got to remember that the spring season is normally for a lot of one-on-one opportunity with players and coaches to improve upon certain skills and areas and aspects of their game. And right now, instead of having all that one-on-one practice time in the gym, they're focused on game planning and winning matches that have direct implications on the NCAA tournament, Eric. And so you're not getting that one-on-one time. Mackenzie Mormon is somebody that has done a great job from the end of the fall season and has carried over into the spring. And so they're very excited about where she's heading in the future of her career at South Carolina.
Service error for Texas A&M will give the point to South Carolina. That's 4 errors on the serve for A&M. The spring schedule leading up to NCAA tournament time, 40-18 field. The selection's announced on April 4th, so less than 2 months from now. Lot on that one. A good hustle play by Kovas. Can't get there. 2 points from a match win for Texas A&M.
And it was Claire Jeter with the kill in her first career start for Texas A&M. She's a middle blocker by trade, but Bird said we put her on the right side this semester. We were working her there just to see what would happen, and boy, did she impress. She's got such a heavy arm. She can terminate whether it's on the right side, back in the middle, or even on the outside pin. So they felt like we had to put her on the floor, and so far in her first start, it's paying off for the Aggies.
Swing misses the mark, and it is match point for Texas A&M. Sabrina Sestala back to serve for the match for the Aggies. Carolina's not done yet.
Nice high swing by Mormon over top of the block there. Shallow kill up in the court. Can Bowers try to make one last push?
A&M for the match. Kovas kept it alive. Kovas again is there. Bodies flying around, and South Carolina will get that point. Bowers heading back to serve.
Wiping up a little bit of sweat.
Yep.
CC Hecht went for a tumble there, diving after it. Gets hot in those gyms. Leave a sweat trail, you gotta mop them up.
Another match point for the Aggies. Good swing, and guess who ends it? Claire Jeter getting the start on the right side, closes it out for A&M in their spring debut, Katie.
It's like we wrote it up, just how we wrote it, Eric. We start the broadcast mentioning Claire Jeter. Bird was hopeful she'd have a great game, and then she closes it out with a nice kill from the right side.
Jeter gets the kill. Texas A&M wins it in 4. Jeter ends up with 6 kills in her first collegiate